episode 4 of the 9-Point Start With a Dream podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the 9-Point Start With a Dream podcast. I'm your host, Kobe Gillum. Today's episode is pretty unique. We have Nigel, Byam, professional basketball player. We talk about his journey and how he landed in the sport of basketball to go into Division I without playing in high school, to even playing professionally overseas without an agent. It's a unique story that I think you'll get some great value from. Hope you enjoy.
My name is Nigel Byam, 6'7", professional basketball player / entrepreneur. I played all over the world. I went to school, St. Francis, New York, Division I school in New York. First school was Carl Albert Junior College, which was in Oklahoma, very far. But yeah.
I went to OU, so I'm all for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Oklahoma all the way. And now I'm kind of into, I've always been into helping the next generation, which is extremely important because I feel like I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York. And it's a lot that, influences you to do possibly bad things and things like that. So I feel like a positive influence in all communities is extremely important. So that's basically what my business is about now, which is called Learn from a Pro. Learn from a Pro, clearly you're learning from a pro. And I just feel like my slogan is pretty much a pro's effort. So you always want to give a pro effort, anything that you do, you know what I mean? You're doing this, you're doing any possible thing, you always want to approach it in a professional mindset, which is extremely important. So, that's my main thing. That's the slogan behind everything.
Awesome. I dig it, my man. So if we rewind back to the very beginning, what was your goal, your big dream as an athlete? What was your thing you want to achieve?
You know what's funny? My overall goal originally was not to play basketball, man. I honestly wanted to be a chef. When I went to school in Oklahoma, my first major is in hotel, restaurant, and tourism management with a concentration in culinary arts. I was going to be a 6'7" chef. So, yeah.
Hey. So how did you get to basketball then? I'm guessing you kind of had that creative mindset, so you kind of want to do something that you're passionate about. How did you land in basketball?
Well, I landed in basketball because pretty much a lot of my friends and a lot of my family members and stuff like that, they played a lot of basketball. And I was tall, and I honestly, this is the cold hard honest truth, I am extremely gifted naturally. You know what I mean? Okay. I have a 40-inch vertical. I was dunking in the 7th grade. I actually just came from doing a speech. I was doing a speech, a keynote speaking at a school, and it was actually the first school I dunked in, which was unreal in New York, but yeah, I was just naturally gifted. And, once you can have the height in basketball and you have athleticism, everything else could be taught. So, pretty much my junior college coach just taught me about 3 moves, bro. And I was junior college All-American, to be honest. Naturally I was just into it, and it came easy for me. So I pretty much ride the wave. I just, milked it for as much as I possibly could get.
Awesome. So you went to the JUCO route. So how did you get there? Did you start back at a later age, or you kind of just wanted to go a different direction? How that happened?
Definitely. What happened was kind of a funny story. I actually was in a basketball gym with my friends just playing basketball because I did not play high school basketball.
Okay, wow.
Completely odd. So from going from not playing high school basketball to being a professional, it's the percentages, I actually go with the percentages actually less than 1%. So I guess I'm pretty rare. So I was in a gym. It's called Hoopland. It's not existing anymore. So it was basically like a playground indoors. So you had about 4 courts where you and your friends could probably pay $2-3 and just go play for the day. And we were in there, and they had a coach just walked up to me. I was actually dunking. I did a windmill or something, and the whole gym was like, "Oh, wow!" And the coach walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I told him Nigel and stuff like that. He said, "You play basketball?" I was like, "A little bit, just me and my friend." He said, "What if I tell you I can get you a scholarship to go to school?" I was like, "Listen, man, I don't have time to play games. It's not realistic." So he told me, he said, he had a program that put a bunch of free agents, kids in front of coaches. He was the middleman. So he connected you to these coaches, and you got to play and showcase your talent. It was basically a showcase. So after the showcase, I had 4 junior college that wanted me, full scholarships. and I just chose the farthest one away from New York City, which was Oklahoma. I was in Poto, Oklahoma, to be exact. So very small town.
So once he kind of gave you the opportunity, what were you like, hey, I'm about to make this like a reality? Or like, what was your thought process when he said, I can get you to college?
It you know, when it started happening, like even up to this day, man, I played all over the world, every single continent, and you know, everything just happened so fast, to be honest, that, you know, I didn't really get a chance to process it then, but now I'm processing it now. It's like, it's just completely mind-blowing. So when it happened, I was kind of just riding the wave, man. You know, I was always a good student, so school was never an issue for me. So I was just pretty much riding the wave of just being a player and getting all this attention. You know, one thing that stuck out to me, to be honest, when I was in junior college, I basically got a pair of sneakers from the coach. You know, your team. This is the first time anybody had ever given me anything in order to play on their team. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Like, somebody's actually, you think I'm good enough for me to actually get a free pair of sneakers to play on your team, to represent your team? So, you know, that I could definitely say that was like a very shocking moment for being, you know, just a regular kid playing basketball for fun with his friends, to being a college player, you know. And, you know, it was a Division I junior college, so it was pretty a big deal. Yeah,
for sure. That's dope. So you're there for a few years. You got opportunity to go to D1, opportunity to go college. Where'd you go?
I chose St. Francis, New York, and it was, you know, it worked out for me. Let me just start off by saying that before I say this. But it worked out for me, and St. Francis was amazing to me, man. I love it. I love the it's a small school, but it's, you know, family orientated kind of environment and stuff like that. But I had over 12 Division I scholarships, man, and St. Francis was actually the lowest school. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But to be honest, I think it was the fact that I was in Oklahoma, in a town with maybe 2,000 people, small town, and I just wanted to get back to New York. So
big city life.
Yeah, I had UNC Charlotte, St. John's was interested. There was a bunch of schools that was interested in me, man. And you know, at that point, I just chose St. Francis, and you know, it worked out well.
Is there like a big transition from JUCO to Division I, you know, university? Is there like a big difference there, or a gap in life there?
Definitely. It's more of, because, you know, at junior college, I have a 40-inch vertical, so I was just dunking on everybody, and pretty much, you know, in terms of athleticism, I was the man. And getting to Division I school, where you probably have 3 to 4 people on your team that's probably jumping just as high as you are, you know, you got to find something else that you can do now. You know, it's a bigger niche, so it's a bigger market. So that I could definitely say was the biggest transition. It was like, you know, guys are bigger, guys are stronger. I remember playing against Syracuse, and it was like the point guard was almost my height. You know what I mean? The small forwards was almost my height. So it was real tough. And in college, I played the 4. I played power forward. So, you know what I mean? I had to guard sometimes guys 7 foot, and I just had to make it work. You know what I mean? So that's definitely the biggest difference. Yeah.
You were kind of like a raw talent in a sense, right?
Oh, like raw wouldn't even be the, like, it was like the point guard could throw the ball anywhere up above the rim, and I'm gonna just jump up there and dunk it. My coach literally taught me 2 moves. One of them was a right hook shot, and one of them was a left hook shot. And I averaged 20 and 10 off of that only in junior college. All I knew, because I was so athletic, I just jumped. He just told me dribble 2 times to the middle and jump over the person and just hook the ball straight into the rim. And that's exactly what I did, and it worked out.
All right, I got this.
I got it.
Keep it simple.
That's it.
So for anybody listening that's trying to play a sport for the first time, what would be like your advice on how to approach it, how to approach that process? You know, if they want to go college or whatever.
I think it's huge to find your niche. You know what I mean? A lot of kids, you know, I meet a lot of kids, talk to a lot of kids, and a lot of them try to be something they're not. You know what I mean? They look at NBA players, and those guys are like super talented in every area. For instance, Blake Griffin. He's a big guy that can jump really high, but he also can shoot threes. You know what I mean? And kids try to imitate those things, and sometimes we just need to find our niche, man. If you're a bruiser, just be a bruiser. If you're a point guard, facilitate. Like, it's certain things that you just need to find your niche and work on that. Like, master a craft, not all of the craft. Just master a craft and then push forward from there.
A hook shot and dunk, man. All you need, right?
Very simple.
That's what's up. So you get to college. You're balling out there. You're cooking as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what your thought with that? Was your thought ever like I want to go pro or like I want to be a chef?
Well, I could definitely say at the end of junior college, when I got so much attention for my basketball ability, the modem kind of switched a little bit from being a
Okay.
chef. And my modem was never really to play professionally, man. To be honest, like I never really thought that far ahead. Just being confident in myself, I didn't think that I could possibly do something like that. So I'm the type of person like if I put my mind to something, I can really get it done. And going through when I got to Division I level, and I'm playing against guys that they're talking for the NBA draft, for instance, at Syracuse, Wesley Johnson. You know what I mean? I'm playing against him, and I'm like, wait, I could do this, man. Like, you know what I mean? I could really make this happen, and that's when it kind of switched over. Because so when I got done with college, it was like the switch of my mind was like, I can get this done. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother, like overseas is a whole nother story. I know we're going to go step by step, but that's another big deal of how I got there. You know what I mean? From Division I, it looks good, but to be honest, I only average about 5 points at St. Francis. You know what I mean? My school was guard orientated, and I was the guy, the cleanup. You miss a shot, I'm gonna dunk on somebody. I catch the put back. I block a lot of shots. Like I was top 5 in the nation at the time. It was Hashim Tabit was in there from UConn. I don't know if you remember him.
Sure, yeah.
So it was me, Hashim Tabit. It was I was in the top 5 with those kind of guys. So, but I was 6'7". So you know what I mean. He's 7'2" or 7'3" or something like that. So it's like kind of on paper, NBA teams wouldn't really look my direction because of my position. So, that was basically the switch from it all. Yeah.
So what helped you, I guess, like keep going? I mean, 'cause from like a mental standpoint, like what was like helping you keep pushing the note? I'm gonna take this stride by stride. I'm gonna enjoy the journey, I guess.
It was all so new to me. The first organized game that I possibly serious basketball game that I actually got to play full time was starting in college. So, and my coaches always told me, was like, listen, you make mistakes, but you just started to play basketball. Some of these kids been playing basketball since they were like 4 or 5 years old. You know what I mean? And you're dominating them. So I'm like, okay, maybe I got something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That was always my motive to like, okay, I just started this. Like, I got so much more growth to do. You know what I mean? I just figured out my peak of my game, where my mental and my physical ability came together, was probably about a year or two ago, man. Like, honestly. Coaches didn't know, like, it was hard to recruit, to plan against me because you didn't know me. Like, this kid came out of nowhere, literally. Like, a lot of coaches are like, how did you go under the radar for so long? Like, how is this ever possible? How do we have somebody just walking down the street, 6'7", and could dunk the ball with his head if he wanted to? Like, how is this possible? You know what I mean? And it was just mind-boggling to a lot of coaches how that slipped away. But it's a lot of talent out there, man.
That's like in New York, basketball. You're like, how is this guy not doing any, all the parks in New York playing basketball for sure.
Exactly.
So you're in college. You're about to graduate. What's the move?
The move was basically changing my position. So now it's a pro level, right? So I'm at Division I can jump really high, so you can sneak me in at playing the power forward. Overseas or in the NBA, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm 6'7". I'm either a shooting guard or a small forward. Like, that switch had to happen. So that whole time after the season was done, I had to key in on developing my guard skills, which I had because I'm from New York, and and one mixtapes. As kids, that's what me and my friend tried. Like, we could dribble the
ankles are safe.
Yeah. Yeah, we could dribble the basketball even if you were 7 foot. We New Yorkers just can dribble a basketball. So I had to key in on using my skill with the IQ and getting it all together. And that's what I did. I just digged in. Like, I really mentally prepared myself. Okay, I have to make the switch. Let's make it happen. And I got it done. Definitely got it done.
More opportunities kind of at your door, like saying, hey, we want you to play overseas, like you want to play in NBA, and what was like the opportunity like for you that way?
Well, I came from St. Francis, low Division I, average 5 points, so the opportunities wasn't there at all. You know what I mean? What happened, like I said, was the crazy part of the story. This is nuts. But I would work out. I would set like a work day for myself, right? So it will be 8 hours of work. I'm going to put in 8 hours of work, right? So I was in the gym for 3 hours, working out, lifting weights, doing all that good stuff. And then I will be on the computer marketing myself for 5 hours. I went overseas with no agent. So this was like, okay, I'm going to find every single team. I'm going to email every single coach. I'm going to try to get a conversation through Facebook with every single coach until that one person bites. And I literally probably send out hundreds, probably 300 to 400 emails until I got that one team to give me an opportunity. And after that, it was just, the rest is history, man.
How long were you doing that for?
It took me, because I dig deep, like I said, 8 hours a day. So it took me from about, I want to say April while in school till I left in September. So it took me about April to August in order to put that work in, and not just basketball. Because a lot of people, we got songs and you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Like, I get all that. But the thing is if you're working out so hard in the gym, nobody knows about it. Only person that knows about it is you and whoever's looking at you in the gym. Unless you got NBA scouts or agents in the gym with you, the workout is kind of irrelevant. You have to market yourself outside of that. Like, when you Google my name, I made sure that when you Googled my name, Nigel Byam, I looked like a professional basketball player.
Dude, that's fire right there.
I looked like it. So I had nice pictures. I designed a website for myself. Like, I really put the structure together to make myself look like that professional basketball player that you want part of your organization. Because professional basketball is business. You know what I mean? They want the person, yes, they want the person with the most skill, but they also want the person that's going to sell them tickets.
Tight how you realize that, sure, I can ball, I can dunk. That doesn't matter if no one knows about it.
It's irrelevant. and I realized that from the coach's responses. Every time I play against a school in junior college, like, what's your name? The coach will literally come to me from the opposite team. What's your name and where are you from? Like, what's happening here? Like, where did you come from? We know every kid in the country, and you know what's happening. Like, what's going on? So I realized that I was like, okay, I have the talent, but I didn't have the exposure. So how do I translate this into the professional world now? You Google, I was always very business minded. So I already knew NBA teams, overseas teams, they want to sell tickets. So you want the person that looks good. You got to look the part. Like, you can be a professional basketball player, but if you can't give an interview, if you can't, market yourself out there in order for people to like you, you have to invite people into your world. And, this is before the big time social media times.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, we can go live. And I didn't have any of that. So I had to make that platform online by myself.
Dude, that's crazy. Like, you spent 3 hours practicing and 5 hours marketing yourself.
In that office, I was putting in that work, like emailing people, just saying the right things, positioning the email in order to I download Google Translator. So sometimes if like I'm a Middle East guy, I played a lot in the Middle East. I played all over the Middle East. So I had to translate sometimes in Arabic. You know what I mean? I'm sending teams hello in Arabic, and then the rest of the letter is in English. But that subject line is in Arabic. They're gonna grab their attention. That's what they speak originally. You know what I mean? You're catering to their needs almost. You're catering to their needs. So it's more than basketball, man. This whole thing is just, I don't have nothing against agents, but agents at the end of the day, they might sign me and you, but they got 100 other people that just like me and you, and they just putting out, they contact a team. Here's 10 guys, take one. Here's 10 guys, take one. Like,
cut me a check on the end of it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And then it's like sometimes you just might not be the lucky guy that they catch. So how about I send the email with only me, so there's nobody else to look at?
That's wild. That's super dope that you did that, because I think a lot of athletes don't realize that a coach or an agent can't do as good for you as you can do for yourself.
That's a fact. And until we understand that, it's like, I even met guys, man, they were like, oh, Nigel, you play overseas, man. You could put in a good word for me. You could do this for me. You could do that for me. And I'm like, at the end of the day, bro, you got to kind of put in the work, man. He's like, I'm in the gym, I'm fit, I'm ready, I'm this, I'm that. That's kind of irrelevant. I'm sorry to say, man.
Yeah.
I applaud the hard work and all this amazing stuff, but being in the gym for 6 hours a day is irrelevant. It doesn't help you to be a professional. It doesn't help.
Dude, my man. All right, so once you put into work like behind the scenes, like you're kind of marketing yourself, you're your own agent,
Right.
So what was it like when that team was like, hey, we want you?
When the team, like, when the team called, and the crazy part is like this email came because it came from Bahrain, which is in the Middle East, right? It went to my junk box, bro. I checked my junk box mail. I don't even know why that day. I just checked it, and I seen literally a contract. I got my first contract, and it went straight to my junk box.
What are the odds?
And till this day, I check my junk box at least twice, 3 times a week. Like, I check it. I got my first opportunity to play professionally in my junk box. Like, who checks that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild. So I mean, like, so far, man, your journey is almost like a dream in a way. You go from and a rec one day, coach come up to you like, hey man, I'll get you an offer. The JUCO, the D1, now you're playing overseas. What's next? What's that like? What are you thinking? Like, okay, I'm gonna play overseas. I'm gonna live here for a little bit. Like, what are your?
Yeah, so you're overseas and you're over there from anywhere between 6 to 8 months out of the year. So I'm over there and I'm super focused on exactly what I got to get done. But also I embrace their culture. Like, I speak a little bit of Arabic now because I've been in the Middle East so long. And, I wanted to accept their culture. I wanted to know what it was about. I wanted to learn it. And that's the biggest thing, man. The guys go over there and they're kind of closed-minded about America and not experiencing other people's culture, which is completely amazing. It gives you a wider perspective on just life, period. Like, their problems is not our problems. You know what I mean? And which is important to learn and know what's acceptable in their culture, because things that we do, it's not okay to them. Something is like walking down the street and you gotta spit or something like that. We'll kick to the side and spit a little. Like, you can't do that there. You know what I mean? That's completely disrespectful to them. And like, even like crossing your legs and letting the bottom of your shoe face someone. You know what I'm saying? Which is, which we look at, okay, who cares? Like, we're on the train, we're on the bus. People do that all the time. It's nothing to us. But to them, it's a sign of disrespect because they feel like that's the bottom of everything, which is the bottom of your shoe. So there's no way I'm going to be equal to the bottom of somebody's shoe. That's their mindset. Accepting their culture. And I'm out there and I'm playing, man. And the love you get from just the community. It was, I played a couple games and the ref were giving me a hard time. And couple of the guys from the community, like, almost wanted to fight the referee. Because it's like, oh, he's from my community and you're not going to disrespect him. And that, it was like, wow, this is really feels good. Like, you got people backing you, So they embraced me, man. I like, literally, the Middle East is probably my favorite place in the entire world, man. I love the Middle East because they're so, warm,
And it's crazy, the world, the media shows the Middle East as a certain way, but you're saying your perception of them living there, they loved you.
Yeah, I played in Iraq for 2 years, bro. You know what I mean? And that's probably one of my life-changing moments. Going to Iraq, seeing everything, and then seeing and hearing what the media is saying in America. Because I got friends like, oh, you all right, man? Look what just happened in Iraq. I'm like, I'm standing outside right now. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? But it's cool, man. The place is cool, and I feel like anybody, if you're not coming to hurt them or attack them in any way, like, there's no reason to be defensive. I'm coming to represent your town and your city in Iraq. They got the utmost love for me, man. I was almost on a pedestal for being an American. They respected me so much. Man. I had, walking down the street, even going to the stores, like, people will stop, like, oh, American. Being an American, like, that's Nigel, the American. That's the guy who plays for our club team. And, I got pictures and stuff. And that was the biggest thing for them. If you rep for them, they will just ride for you for the end of it, man. They loved it.
Dude, that's what's up. So you're playing overseas, you're balling out, you're going from country to country. what was your thoughts on life? I guess maybe not kind of like after your playing days. What was your mindset on that?
Well, like I said, I always had a open mind to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I really took it as, you know, be out there and impact the game, but life has to go on. And I always wanted to impact others. And my business gives me, Learn from a Pro gives me that on a grand scale. It gives me a chance to just be greater than just me. It's not about me anymore. So life after basketball, I was always considering I want to be a businessman. Like this is what I want to do. And strategically just planning it all out. You know what I mean? Just like using the basketball. Because, for instance, perfect example today, right? I'm a keynote speaker. None of the kids knew exactly who I was. So I walked in the gym. They announced me, hey, Nigel Byam, he's going to share a little message with us. And, you hear a little buzzing. And these kids, they're 11 to 14. So you hear like who's talking in corners.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I said, hi, my name is Nigel Byam, professional basketball player, the entire gym, this is like 300 kids, quiet. Everybody knew. Everybody, I was like, what? He's a what? Like, so it gave me the leverage. Just being that pro gave me the leverage in order to grab somebody's attention. And now you're going to listen to me. Now I'm going to pump a bunch of positive energy and just like, let you know that you can do it and let you know that, it's kind of cliche to just say, oh, you can do it. You can do it. Like, yeah, but I've came from where a lot of these kids came from. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was in the school I went to. Like I said, I dunked for the first time in that gym. So I was there. I was one of those kids. I was one of those, possibly statistics in Brooklyn, New York. So that just gave me the platform in order to bring that to the world. And now even like, Fortune 500 companies, they're calling me and, I go speak to them and they're listening to me. You know what I mean? They're listening because I'm a professional basketball player. They want to listen to me and they want to hear my story. They want to, what I think about teamwork, team building, all these kind of things where, basketball has taught me. Basketball has taught me all these things and using keys now to impact people's lives. And that's livelihood after basketball. And that's another thing my program does. I go into schools and talk to student athletes and let them know, hey, you're going to use basketball to propel you in life. Because if you have an amazing career like Vince Carter did, he's 40 years old. After 40, you got a whole lot of life to live, bro. Like, it's a lot to live after 40 years old. So it's always life after basketball, even if you're a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? They look at all these Hall of Famers. Some of them, Antoine Walker, sad case.
Yeah.
This guy was amazing. Had millions. Probably made 80, 90 million dollars out of his career and go broke. That's because mentally, he probably wasn't, on a standard where he would actually know, okay, I got to separate this and invest in this and probably use my platform to propel me to this. You know what I mean? It's step by step. It's very strategic, man. Just life period is strategic. If you proper planning, you can get all of this done. Like, it's not a hard thing at all.
What helped you develop that, like, from early? What kind of helped you kind of have that like JV type mindset? Like, I want to, position myself to each level of the platform.
I think honestly, because my parents are originally from Grenada, and which is in the Caribbean, and going there and seeing sometimes the less fortunate and seeing how people don't have certain things, and talking to a lot of older folks. I always was talking to a lot of older folks, and traveling the world also kind of helped me to understand that, okay, if I have this opportunity will run out. You know what I mean? And it's like you're eating an apple. If you eat this apple, you're going to savor the taste and stuff like that. But the memory of that apple will always kind of be there if you want to remember it. You know what I mean? So that's how you're going to use this to propel you on a greater stage. So I took all those key notes from all around the world, man. I met people that had 2 pair of shoes, and I'm in college and I'm getting 9 to 10 pair of shoes to play basketball for 4 months. Like, it didn't make sense to me almost. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I took those shoes. Sometimes I used what I could, and I probably had 4 or 5 different pairs that I didn't even touch in the box. I used to take them and bring them for people, and they'll be so appreciative of some sneakers. And then I come back and my teammates is throwing them all over the place. Like, some sneakers just there, and like, you wear sneakers 1 time, 2 times, but we look at that such a small and minor thing because we're so fortunate to have these things. You know what I mean? So the little that I got, the lot that I got, I took that and made it even more. because I understood that I could have been in a whole different situation. My life could have been completely different if it wasn't for basketball. So to disrespect basketball and the life lessons and the financial gain that it has given me, it'll be like a slap in the face to not take it and propel myself. You know what I mean? Like, use the sport. The sport uses you a lot. Like, they had big talks all over the world about, college players deserve to get paid and this, that, and the third. And, the schools are making so much money off of us. But you got to use this platform to propel you to a greater stage until that check comes in college, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Use it. Yeah.
So how long have you had your company?
That's why I call myself an entrepreneur. I've definitely dabbled in like 4 or 5 businesses in my life so far. Dabbled in so much. And I think that's like the key definition of an entrepreneur. And also just being a team player with yourself and your team. Because what happens is, it's like basketball. I relate a lot to basketball because you play one game, like we played against Syracuse. Me and you on the team, we played against Syracuse. We lost by 20. But the next day, we got a conference game with a team that we know we can beat. We have to brush off the Syracuse and get to this conference game right away. So, that's the switch. You gotta be able to separate that stuff in ups and downs and, put it all together. So with business now, regardless, you probably made one and it's like, it didn't really work out. Next, until you get the right thing. And the crazy part is all those things that didn't work out, it's helping you because, it connects because it's like tools. You know what I mean? I went into the t-shirt. I used to print t-shirts. I did all of that. So now I got this business here where I'm actually the talent. I know how to design t-shirts. I know how to kind of market myself. I know how to kind of pump myself out and get myself out there a little bit. So it all helped. It all helped. Everything in the past helped me to get to where I'm at today. So that's exactly how I continue to just stay motivated and keep doing what I'm doing and, to be successful. Learn from a pro literally is less than a year old, man. Less than a year old. But I'm really pumping myself out there, like just like I was overseas, man. I'm out here sending hundreds of emails. All I need is a couple to bite. So,
so you have Learn Like a Pro. And then I heard you had a nonprofit. So how did that come about?
The nonprofit is basically based back home in Grenada, where my family is originally from. So that came about because I used to go to Grenada all the time, and some of the best basketball players I played with till this day, and I've played with and against Carmelo Anthony. I've played against, all the big names, Chris Copeland, J.R. Smith, like just to name a few. Those guys are great. I just know some basketball players in the Caribbean that's good too, man. They're really good. I'm not saying they're Carmelo Anthony, don't get me wrong, but they're really, really good, man. And I wanted to create a platform where I can help the younger generation in the Caribbean propel to get their self exposure and get their self probably out here to college. So that's the mission down there. I go down there, I have a camp. I connect them with coaches. I connect them with junior colleges, especially coming from the Caribbean, and give them that outlet. That outlet that you can get it done. There's a couple kids out here right now that's playing in colleges and they're doing very well. So I try to talk to them as much as possible, try to mentor them as much as I possibly can, encourage them and keep them going. Because we're from a small island. It's 100,000 people in Grenada. You know what I mean? Opportunities don't come. A coach is not flying to Grenada to find a player. You know what I mean? Ethan Thomas, you ever heard of Ethan Thomas? He played in the NBA for like 13 seasons.
I've heard that name.
He played at Syracuse, but Ethan Thomas is from Grenada, man, and he's more of, I think, American born. His family's from there. But, even using that, a lot of people don't even know Ethan Thomas was from Grenada. You know what I mean? He was an NBA player, but a lot of people don't even know. So coaches are not coming to Grenada looking for talent yet. So hopefully I could bridge that gap. And I have been. I had some great success helping kids get to schools up here, and, it's working out great.
So what's like your next step? What's your big goal that you kind of keep this rolling? You're kind of full strength and everything.
Well, I'm gonna keep, I got to learn from a pro, and I'm really pushing that, man. I feel like it's gonna impact a lot of people. I feel like I have a story that can promote a lot of different topics, just like, the cold hard work, but not the physical hard work, because people always say hard work. Hard work always pays off. If we're talking about hard work, the best paid people on the earth should probably be construction workers. You know what I mean? Because they work so hard. Like, but it's more of, you got to work really smart. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even call me playing basketball for 3 hours and being on the computer for 5 hours being very hard work. It's more of smart work. I've strategically put that together. So you got to think out, plan, and, you know, that's what this business is promoting. And that's what I'm going to be promoting to everybody, you know, just have a plan and put it together. Sometimes we just out there. You know, a lot of basketball players, young basketball players, like the top basketball players, you ask them certain things, they don't have a clue, man. They just out there because they're so talented. And everybody don't know. You can make it to the NBA, you can make it to the NBA. But strategically, they don't have a clue.
No clue.
Everything just falls into their lap for the most part because they're so talented. But as soon as somebody else has a better game against you, guess what? You can get pushed to the side real fast, and now you're completely lost. Forgotten real quick. Yeah. AAU circuit now, everything is moving so fast that, you know, like you could be forgotten. There's hundreds of players. There's hundreds of kids out there, thousands. You know what I mean? So you could be forgotten quick. But if you strategically put this together, understand where you are, you know, just understand that, okay, I'm this type of player, so I'm going to push myself to be recruited to St. Francis and not Kentucky. You know what I mean? It's a waste of email. I'm going to try to send to Kentucky. Like St. Francis, PA, last night, St. Francis, PA played against Duke, right? So St. Francis, PA got destroyed. Not my school. It has two St. Francis.
Yeah.
It got destroyed by Duke. Like, I have to clear that. Not me. You know, they got destroyed, right? And Duke put their whole bench in. And the whole crowd is like hype. Like, oh, these guys don't even get to play. And you know who was amongst those guys? Like David Robinson's son was amongst those guys. The point guards and everybody, those guys are 5-star athletes, and people are excited to see them make a layup because we know, like in high school, you get the little walk-ons, and these guys coming off the bench that you want to call the little bums or whatever you want to call. These guys are 5-star athletes. You know what I mean? The bench at Duke could beat probably half of Division I out there, like the lower half. They destroyed it. Easily, like, you know what I'm saying? So with that, it's kind of like, you know, if you're not that player, if you're not a 5-star player, let's not talk about Duke. Let's not talk about Kentucky. Like, let's not do that. Like, but they got tons of other options, and that's something else I'm pushing, man. Like, there's NAIAs. You know, they got all the black colleges. It's so much different stuff that's available to you. Like NAIA give out full scholarship. Why not go to school for free? Why not? You know what I mean? It's a smart idea. Sometimes you're not the greatest player, but you can get a scholarship to go to NAIA. Go to school for free and use basketball, man. Like, why not?
Yeah. You're killing it right now. Your story is like so relatable. Yeah. Because it's what people are going through. And I think what you're talking about is great because we need to hear this message because we all think, you know, I want to go to Duke. I want to go to power school, you know, football, Alabama, the Oklahomas, you know, and we think that that's the only choice. But you're saying no. Like you're from example. You went to a D1 school. You played, and you went overseas and balled out.
Exactly.
And it's all free.
All free. And you know, I went overseas, got paid for it. Like, you know what I mean? So, and made a living off of it, you know? So even with schools, right? It was like, I had friends that I graduated with and literally in debt for like $200,000. And I'm like, oh man, when is this ever going to pay off? You get a job, you're probably making $40,000 a year. Like, when are you ever going to really pay this off? Like, when does this happen? And you have this for the rest of your entire life. It's almost like a hindrance from going to college. If you have an athletic ability, regardless of what sport, because I feel like, you know, even my story, it translates over to football too. Because, you know, if you're not a big-time athlete, like the biggest schools in football, they're not looking at you. Like, you know, Texas, you know, like that's what you guys do. Like Texas, Oklahoma, I remember going down there and I'm remembering, like, I literally seen Friday Night Lights, like, in front of my face, like, at a high school game. Crazy. So, you know, it's like, if you're not that player, if you're not that guy, and don't let that demote your mindset in terms of, okay, I might not make it to a D1. I could get a D2. Matter of fact, you could go D1, NAIA or something. Like, it's so much opportunities available. But like you said, sometimes the pride just stops us and puts us in a hole apart from promoting us, man. This sport is bigger than just being out there playing on the field or playing on the basketball court. It's so much bigger than that. Huge.
Much respect. Like, we kind of work towards wrapping up a little bit. Where can people kind of find more about you, your information, your websites, your social media, and what can we find you at?
So the quickest thing because I love Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram is like my thing. So if people, you follow me on Instagram, it's I am NB21. You know what I mean? It's like I am Nigel Byam 21. That's exactly what that is. My number was 21 when I was in school. And my website is Nigel Byam, BYAM, at info.com. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I have a bunch of stuff, but even if you get to my Instagram, I got everything there, man. Everything is going to be played out for you. And, I just invite people to just enjoy my ride and enjoy my story, man. I really share as much as I possibly can and, encourage people as much as I can, all the kids out there and all even adults, man. This could relate to your job situation in life and just everything like that. So, I definitely, want people to reach out. You got questions for me? Like, I'm always answering questions and, anything that a kids want to know, even an adult want to know. Because I got guys that ask me about playing overseas. How do I do it? How can I get there? Like, what are they looking for? You know what I mean? And, so I got advice for everybody, man. I'm looking forward to hearing from people.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the 9 Point Started with the Dream podcast. I was your host, Jacoby Gillum. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment, share, leave a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can check out more about what we're doing with 9 Point at 9point.com. Till the next episode, talk to you soon.